Yeah, that car is undriveable, mate. Honestly, I can $10.
Lewis Hamilton called his Ferrari undrivable, but was it the car, or a coded message to Maranello? Friday in Spain wasn't just another practice session, it was a confession wrapped in frustration. Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, ended FP2 in P11, nearly 8/10 off Piastri's pace. But it wasn't the timesheet that raised alarms, it was his voice. That was bad, he told his race engineer, Riccardo Adami, then harsher. This car is not drivable. Earlier, in FP1, he had looked competitive, P3, just 0.378s behind Norris. So what changed in 2 hours? Ferrari insiders whisper about the FIA's new front-wing flex directive, in force starting this weekend. Coincidence, or cause? Fred Vasseur quickly countered the narrative, calling Lewis's complaints a bit extreme, and pointing to a strong soft tyre stint, but the tone was different. Defensive, controlled, as if trying to contain a fire, not just of performance, but of internal trust. What Hamilton said on the radio was raw, but what he didn't say might be even more revealing. When a team boss calls a champion's words extreme, it's not a correction, it's a power move. Fred Vasseur's response wasn't denial, it was containment. Speaking to Sky Sports F1, the Ferrari principal said, "We had a good pace in the morning, we struggled more in the afternoon. Then came the jab cloaked in calm. The comments were a bit extreme on the radio today, but Lewis also had a strong stint on soft tires." This wasn't just a technical analysis, it was a public framing of Hamilton's emotions, subtle, but sharp. Vasseur was drawing a line. "We hear your frustration, but we don't share your panic." And behind the scenes, engineers noticed Hamilton's drop came after the team's aero adjustments. The timing aligns almost too perfectly with the FIA's new crackdown on flexible front wings. Has Ferrari lost its hidden edge, or did Hamilton expose a deeper instability? One thing is certain, Vasseur isn't just managing a car, he's managing Hamilton's storm. When a driver asks his race engineer, "Are you mad at me?" it's not banter, it's a warning shot. In Spain, the tension wasn't just in the lap times, it was in the silence. After declaring the Ferrari undrivable, Lewis Hamilton waited, seconds ticked by, no response. When Riccardo Adami finally replied, it was clipped, emotionless. The damage was done. This wasn't the first time their radio dynamic raised eyebrows. In Monaco, Hamilton's voice cracked with something deeper than confusion. "Are you upset with me or something?" That question doesn't slip out accidentally, it's the kind you ask when trust is eroding, or already gone. Adami, longtime engineer of Charles Leclerc, now finds himself managing Hamilton, a 7-time champion, a strategist behind the wheel, and someone who detects hesitation like a predator senses fear. If Lewis feels he's not getting full transparency, the relationship fractures. Ferrari may have expected a smooth transition. Instead, they lit the fuse on an internal Cold War, one playing out live over team radio. Because in F1, silence isn't absence, it's message, and Hamilton is listening. The car didn't get worse, the rules changed, and Ferrari's secrets unraveled. Just as FP2 began in Spain, something else quietly came into force. The FIA's latest technical directive, this time targeting illegal flex in front wings, aimed at neutralizing trick aero solutions. The directive promised to level the playing field. But for some teams, it pulled the rug out from under them. Ferrari was one of those teams. Hamilton's sudden drop from FP1 contender to FP2 struggler wasn't just about tire temperatures or traffic. It followed the FIA's inspections like a shadow. Before the directive, Ferrari had one of the most aggressive and suspiciously compliant front-wing concepts. Post-directive, Hamilton calls the car undrivable. Coincidence? Vasseur downplayed it. "We need to improve the first lap. The tire window matters." But seasoned analysts noticed it too. Loss of turn in precision, front instability, signs of a car no longer bending the rules or its own carbon fiber. When the FIA clamps down, some teams lose milliseconds, others lose their illusions. This isn't just Hamilton adapting to Ferrari, it's Ferrari cracking under the weight of his presence. When Lewis Hamilton signed with the Scuderia, fans dreamed of glory, but inside the team, the dream came with a warning. 7 titles don't come quietly. Hamilton doesn't join, he takes over. His demands aren't suggestions, his standards are relentless. And now, with results lagging, pressure is no longer external, it's internal combustion. In Spain, Charles Leclerc was quicker, again. But that's not what rattles the corridors of Maranello, it's the why. Insiders suggest Leclerc's side of the garage is still treated as the reference, the default strategy, the preferred setup path. Hamilton, still in adaptation mode, according to official lines. But Hamilton's radio reveals a man who's not here to adapt, he's here to challenge. Fred Vasseur's language is changing too, less about Louis the Savior, more about managing expectations, more caution, more control. Because when you bring a lion into the den, you don't just hope he'll roar, you pray he doesn't turn on you. When Fernando Alonso calls you the hero of the day, it's not praise, it's provocation. Free practice 2 wasn't supposed to mean much, but in F1, words weigh more than lap times. After Hamilton passed him mid-session, Alonso fired back over the radio, with a smirk hidden in sarcasm. We have the hero of the day in front of us. It was subtle, petty, classic Alonso, but it wasn't just banter, it was a calculated dig, the kind that echoes far beyond sector splits. Alonso and Hamilton have history, deep, unresolved, combustible history, and when Alonso feels Hamilton's name getting too much spotlight, even in a struggling Ferrari, he strikes with the weapon he wields best: mind games. Insiders noticed Alonso's tone change after being outpaced by Hamilton in FP1. In FP2, with Hamilton struggling, he pounced, not with pace, but with words. And in this sport, perception can be just as powerful as pole position, because in Alonso's world, every radio message is a move on the psychological chessboard, and Hamilton, he knows exactly which game they're playing. When a champion calls the car undriveable, and the engineers can't fix it, the problem isn't balance, it's belief. Inside the Ferrari garage, the screens glow, simulations run, telemetry scrolls, wind tunnel data loops, but none of it changes what Hamilton felt in the cockpit. It doesn't turn, it doesn't grip, it doesn't listen. The SF25 has become a machine of contradictions, fast in FP1, lost in FP2, strong on softs, unstable on mediums, and worst of all, it behaves differently for Leclerc and Hamilton, a setup boost Ferrari can't exercise. The team scrambled through Friday night, chasing ride height tweaks, aero balance shifts, tire pressures, camber angles, but when the car's DNA is inconsistent, the setup becomes guesswork, dressed as science. Hamilton, methodical and emotionally intuitive, senses when a car isn't just flawed, but fighting him, and this one, under the new FIA constraints, feels like a machine stripped of its tricks, demanding a compromise no champion can accept, because a car that loses time can be fixed. A car that lies to its driver, that's betrayal on four wheels. If Ferrari doesn't deliver in Spain, the story changes, from ambition to crisis. There's no more hiding, Saturday looms, and with it, the truth. No more simulations, no more deflection. The SF25 has to perform, not just in clean air, but under pressure, against rivals who smell blood. Hamilton knows this isn't just a race, it's a statement weekend. His radio outbursts weren't emotion, they were escalation. A warning to Maranello, give me a weapon, or I'll expose your weakness. Leclerc sits ahead in the standings, with the garage still leaning toward him, as the default choice. But if Hamilton qualifies behind again, the whispers grow louder. If he beats Charles, the dynamic shifts violently, and beyond them, lurks Alonso, Norris, Russell, all circling a vulnerable Ferrari, like vultures scenting strategy chaos and internal doubt. Spain is not neutral ground, it's a crucible, because in Formula 1, redemption doesn't wait, and legends don't beg, they break, or they break through. If you believe this battle is far deeper than lap times, subscribe, and stay for the war they don't want you to see.